dreamers gone? Or have we all just gotten lazy? Something's got to give. There won't be much life left to live. Please send a sign from up above. And if I gotta choose, I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna make me hate. I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna take that away. Ooh, something strange is in the air. Seems that everybody's changing, and I can't find no faith anywhere. Seems it's been replaced with raging. Something's got to give. There won't be much life left to live. Please send a sign from up above. And if I gotta choose, I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna make me hate. I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna take that away. No one can take that from me. I see what I choose to see. Reality is what you make it. So why would I ever choose hatred? I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna make me hate. I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna take that away. I choose love. I choose love. No one's gonna make me hate. I choose love. I choose love. And no one can take that.
Welcome to the Progressive Action TV show. Give yourselves a round of applause. Hope you guys are doing well today. Been a rough week for me, health-wise. This coronavirus is pretty crazy with this breathing, man. Can't figure this thing out. Trying to get a grip on it. But if you just tuning in, you guys know the rules. I need you guys to share out the live video. If you're watching on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on YouTube, take the link, share it out, your text messaging, emails, or whatever. If you're watching on Facebook, share out the live. Watch party, put it in a group that you in, a few groups that you in, put it on your personal page. This information is very, very, very important. Our numbers have been great. The platform is doing well. And thanks to you guys. All right, so the first thing I want to get into is our brother, Tony Herbert. He is officially announcing that he's running for the next New York City public advocate position. Shout out to our brother Tony. So he's having his Sunday, September 20th at Outside. It's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. 285 St. John's Place, Brooklyn, New York, between Plaza Street and Underhill Avenue. So if you're able to make it, come stand out there with us. Tony stood with us, transit workers, on plenty of topics, plenty of serious issues, and it's only right that we show that love back to him. So shout out to Tony Herbert. A lot of people be asking me, Tremel, what you be reading or where you get your information from or where you pull information from. So I want to share a book with you guys. Matter of fact, give me a second. Oh, if you want to call in live today, if you want to call into the show live, The phone number is 347. Hold on, let me get the number real quick. I forgot the number myself. That's crazy, right? I forgot the show number. It's 347-464-2880. If you want to call in and discuss any kind of issue today, whether it's on the topic or whatever you want to say, you could call into the show. 347-464-2880. But a lot of people like to ask me, what book or books are you reading or have you read? This is a book that I read consistently. For the past, I would say, about 10 years, I've been reading this book on and off. And it's a short book. It's like 100 pages. I might have read this book maybe like 15 times. But it seems like every time I read it and I go back into it, I see something that I never seen before. But this book is called Breaking the Curse of Willie Lynch. It's by Alvin Murrow. I was looking for other books that Alvin Murrow he wrote, and there's only one other book. But I mean, he seems like a great author. I will be interested to read more of his publications. But this book basically explains to you why people of color are conditioned the way they are. Now, you have people saying Willie Lynch never existed. It's fake. There's nothing fake about the ideology or the myth of this whole entire thing. There's nothing fake about it. If you read it, it makes 100% sense. And to me, when people say that this person didn't exist or whatever the case is, where are they getting this information from? Or they say that, you know, the words in the Willie Lynch letter is more like 20th century. You got some Bibles out here that's more like 20th century or whatever the case is. In my opinion, Willie Lynch maybe didn't exist. Maybe that wasn't his name. Who knows? Maybe he went by another name. But I would tell you that the ideology that's in this book is 100% on. Make no mistake about it. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Trying to see something real quick. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Oh, the number is 347-484-2880 if you want to call in. Trying to cue that up right now. Give me 1 second. 347-464-2880. So right now we are in a time where various jobs are protesting, standing up for different things. You have the school teachers, not only in New York, but they did it in West Virginia. They did it in Chicago. You had the automakers. They was doing their rallies even before COVID. Now in New York, you have the New York City taxi drivers. And it's very important that we talk about it because today they did a protest on the Brooklyn Bridge. And I want to show you guys what happened. Check it out.
Support you guys, man.
So as you can see, the cab drivers, they had a protest on the Brooklyn Bridge where they stopped all the traffic. And the reason they were protesting was because they wanted some type of demand for debt forgiveness and for predatory loans. And they also wasn't making no money during this pandemic. Now, I don't know how their protest is going to help them get money, fill in for the money that they didn't get during this pandemic. I don't know if what you call that, any type of employment funds was available to them, or government funds. I have no idea. But I could tell you that a lot of people wasn't taking the train, so they was getting around some kind of way. But the fact of the matter is that they are standing up for something that they believe in. When our own union, for the people who don't know, I'm a New York City transit worker. Our own union didn't stand up in any fight of this pandemic during this entire time. So shout out to the taxi drivers. And as you know, the MTA has been setting up a narrative to increase the ridership. Ridership is down, way down. And we talking about 5 to 6 million people. And it's kind of crazy that, well, it's not crazy thinking of the people that we dealing with, the people that's in charge, they don't care. But to want ridership to come back pre a vaccine, pre any type of therapeutic medicine. For those who don't know, therapeutic medicine is any type of medicine that help you deal with some type of sickness or whatever the case may be. We have no therapeutic medicine. We have no vaccine. The MTA is rushing for service to come back. It has been clear that this virus, in order to keep this virus away, you must have on a mask and social distancing must be observed. Anyone who rides the subway pre-pandemic know that during rush hour, social distancing cannot be observed. And people will put their lives on the line to go 5-10 stops so they can get to work on time, so they could pick up their kids in time for school, so they could take care of that parent, so they could catch that store. So they rushing back service and the people without the government having some type of working vaccine or therapeutic medicine. So this is what a picture that was sent to me on September 11th, and this was at 5:08 in the morning. The platform was packed at Newkirk on a 2 and 5 line. The platform was packed, and this worries me because there's no true enforcement in the subways regarding the mask, and there's no such thing as 100% compliance. The MTA is lying about that, and I don't understand why no reporter is asking the MTA how are they measuring compliance. A person is not compliant unless they have their mask on during their entire trip on the subway. If a person have on a mask for one stop and then the next 3 stops they don't have a mask, and the person who observing them only observed them for that one stop, but the next 3 stops they don't have no mask, is that rider compliant? That rider is not compliant. So the MTA come with some weird compliant numbers, which is a straight out lie. You cannot say someone is compliant unless you are observing them from the time that they enter the system to the time that they leave. Anytime that mask go below their nose, they are not compliant. So the MTA is lying about that. So that's one picture. And this is the other picture. I mean, just look at it. It's crowded. It's packed. What could you say? What could you say? I mean, I know I could say one thing, that the MTA, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. But what's going to get them to care is us employees and the riders. That's the only thing that's going to get them to care. It's not going to be anything else. Like I said, if you want to call into the show, the number is 347-464-2880. If you have something to say, I actually want to hear from you guys, especially coming up on the title of the show, because we're going to discuss some things with that. I'm trying to upload something. Give me 1 second. If you're watching right now Feel free to share out the show. I'm trying to see something. So, Sarah Feinberg. Sarah Feinberg is the interim New York City Transit president of New York City Transit. And she said something very important on Errol Lewis, an interview with Errol Lewis on New York One. And I want to play this back for you guys because I feel that we got to dissect everything that they say and everything that they do moving forward. But she says something important, and I want to play it for you guys. Check it out.
For the peak of the pandemic, when you first came into the job, a reorganization was underway that was going to trim, I think, a total of 2,700 workers and 700 out of your area. Has that happened?
Well, we're still in the middle of transformation. To those numbers specifically, a lot of those numbers have been found through attrition. So folks deciding to retire on their own, to go to other positions. And so I think that specific piece of the transformation either won't take place or will take place in a different way than we're expecting. But, you know, the larger argument about transformation, we absolutely need a reorg of the organization. You know, we've got all kinds of layers of, whether you call it bureaucracy or, you know, just sort of jobs on top of jobs on top of jobs. These are all wonderful people. My colleagues are the most talented people I've ever worked with. But there hasn't been a really close look at how do we reorganize this place in order to make sure it's working for taxpayers in a long time. And I think we're overdue for that, and that's what you're going to see in the coming months.
Okay, we will be following along. Thanks so much for joining us. Please keep us up to date. Best of luck with the new mask mandate and the other challenges that face the MTA. Thanks a whole lot for joining us.
Thanks. Great to be with you. Thank you.
For the peak of the pandemic, when you...
Now, she said a lot within that clip, and it is very important that we pay attention to what's going on here. Now, let's be clear. The MTA will fail in any type of reorganization if they don't look at the layers on top of layers on top of layers of needless managers in the system. Like Canela Gomez. He says you have managers just to manage more managers here in the MTA. What type of sense does that make? To have, you know, and we see it, and I don't really know how it works in buses, but in RTO, in subways, you have a whole bunch of managers there that don't need to be there, especially when their only main function seems to be discipline or some type of punitive action towards the men and women who move this system in New York City. Now, I agree with Feinberg with the job situation, but she is lying when she talks about she works with talent. That's just a big PA stunt. Oh, I work with a whole bunch of talent. You do not work with talent around you. Think about it like this, Sarah, because I want to speak to you directly. If there was so much talent here in New York City Transit, then why do you guys hire so many outside consultants to figure out the stuff that's going on in New York City Transit? You guys have so much talent here, but you hire consultants to the tune of billions of dollars because there's so much talent here in New York City Transit. That makes sense to me, right? Makes a whole bunch of sense. There's no talent here. Let's call it for what it is. I mean, there's so much talent here, you have to hire from the outside to figure out the stuff that's going on the inside. That makes sense to me, Sarah. There's so much talent here. Now let's talk about the talent that the MTA really got. The MTA is very talented at disciplining employees. They are outstanding in that category. The MTA is very talented when it comes to money mismanagement. They blow everybody out the water. They are so talented in that. When it comes to targeting employees, the MTA is the best. There's no one more talented than them in that category. No one. When it comes to lying to the media, to the public about how you protected workers during this entire pandemic, the MTA got that hands down. That's what the MTA is talented in. They not talented in the stuff that really supposed to count. If they was talented, we wouldn't need no consultants. But think about this. They don't need no consultant when for discipline. Oh no, they got that covered. They don't need no consultant to blow money. Oh no, they got that covered. They don't need no consultant to target employees. Oh no, they got that covered. What is the talent here, Sarah? That's the problem what's going on with a lot of these organizations. They not being real with themselves. So how can I expect them to be real with us? How can I expect that? They not real with us. So how can I expect that? I mean, they not real with themselves. How can I expect for them to be real with us? They are crazy. If you just tuning in, can you please share out this live, retweet it, wherever you watching it from? Oh man. I know y'all see that. Y'all see that right there, right? We're going to talk about that. Definitely going to talk about that. But before we get into that, because I was just talking about, let me take this other stuff off the screen. We was just talking about, cutting, she talking about it's too many jobs. And normally when they talking about it's too many jobs, they trying to hurt the rank and file. And one department that I feel that they trying to hurt is definitely the stations department. Now, I feel bad for the stations department because I believe that they have the worst leadership out of the entire union. And I don't feel that none of those guys have a clue as to what's going on. Yeah, we have to be smarter. You have to look past people personalities. Yeah, that union rep may be a very nice guy. That union rep may shake your hand when they see you. They may acknowledge you. They may allow you to be in a Facebook group. But none of that matters when it's time to sit at the table with them people. When it's time to negotiate with those people. Like I posted on Facebook today. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. That's the line of business that we in. Yes, we deserve everything. But if we don't have the right people negotiating this stuff for us, we're not going to get what we deserve. It's not backwards. You don't get what you deserve and then negotiate. That's not how it works. You negotiate and out of that negotiation, we'll see what we deserve. But if you have the wrong people leading that charge and that fight for you, you're not going to get what you deserve. And getting what you deserve come out of, we don't get what we deserve. We get what we negotiate. And we must remember that. So now I want to talk about this. If you're watching right now, please tag a station agent. Tag someone from the stations department because I'm going to break this stuff down big time. I'm going to break this down so good that you never heard this stuff before. You never heard this from your union rep. You never heard this from any rep. I promise you. I'm going to give it to you guys raw and real. You never heard it from anyone besides me. And we're going to talk the truth only regarding this department. Make no mistake about it. While we were in the middle of this pandemic, don't think that the MTA was sleeping. They was pushing their agenda, and their agenda was Omni. Their agenda was Omni, without a doubt. As you see on the screen, in the middle of a pandemic, they put that those 3 boroughs are fully omni. Fully omni. Now let's be honest here, because I'm not here to BS you guys. I'm not here to be fake with you guys. I'm here to tell you guys the truth. We cannot stop the forward movement of technology. Nobody can stop that. It's either you're going to find a way to coexist with it, or it's going to exterminate you. Bottom line. If you don't move with the technology, you're going to get exterminated. There's nothing that we could do to stop the technology. Now, during this entire pandemic, our union reps thought that it was a great idea to remove the cash from the booths. Now, for someone who doesn't think critically, that seemed like a wonderful idea. Oh my God, they taking the cash out the booths. They care about us, and they want us to be safe. To be honest, I don't think that they even proposed that idea originally. I think that the MTA proposed that idea and they thought it was a grand idea and say, let's roll with it. I could be wrong, but either way, it's not good. To be speaking in exact for this day and time right now. And I'm going to explain it to you guys. And I want to ask you guys a question. Did supermarkets ever remove cash from their stores? Did they ever say, you know what, it's unsafe for our employees, we're going to remove cash? Because the workers in the supermarket were essential too. They are essential also. Did they ever say, you know what, we're going to remove the cash and we want all the customers to use self-checkout? Did any supermarket do that? The MTA for a while was figuring out a way to get money out the booths. Now, when we went from the token to the Metro card, and now we got Omni. So they are moving towards a cashless system. That's where the technology is going. But why isn't the cash back in the booths yet? The infection rate is down. We're below 100%. I mean, we below 1% in infections. Why isn't cash back in the booths yet? Something to think about. And I want to make this clear because a lot of people miss this point. The easiest way to abolish a job is to take away the duties from the person that's holding the job. If you take away the duties of someone who's holding a job, then what's the sense of them even having a job? So you look at the MTA, they taking away the cash from the booths, right? They taking away cash from the booths. The overnight service has stopped between 1 and 5 a.m. People will be more worried about their safety during those hours at night, right? If there's no one in the subway, no passengers, there's even no more need of a station agent for safety. So now you start gradually taking away the station agent duties. Then what happens? You look at the machines. People say that, the customers don't like the machines. That's not what the statistics say. The stats say that 83% of the sales of Metro cards come from those machines. 83%. That is a huge number. Now you have no cash in the booths. There's even more. And this 83%, that number came in 2019. Now picture now, there's no cash in the booths. So where are they getting these Metro cards from? Now, even looking at the function of these machines, a station agent, they can't provide a receipt. Some people need receipts for their taxes. Some people need receipts for their job. A station agent can't process a credit card, and they can't sell a one-way ticket, right? Only those machines could do it. So now you got the machine doing more work than the actual person, right? Even when you look at the information kiosk that's in the subways, you know, where you press the button and you ask for help and things like that. When the riders was complaining about, or I don't even know if they really even complain, but the MTA is always 10 steps ahead of this union. They know that riders is going to say, well, if you remove the station agents, what's going to happen if we need directions or help? They put those kiosks on the platform. So if you need help, you press a button and someone who you don't see, but they could get you help or they could get you directions. It don't have to be the station agent, right? So you're taking away jobs from the station agent. It's going to make them not have a job. Like, people think that the Wayfinder job is a savior. That's not going to be a savior. The union failed to protect station agent jobs while the MTA was making moves. They failed big time. Now, let's look at the pattern of what the MTA has done over the years, and listen to the narrative. All of this will sound familiar to you guys. The MTA hopes that the public will be oblivious to the warning signs. That they don't only hope that the public is oblivious to the warning signs, but they hope that our union leadership is oblivious to the warning signs, in which they have been. The MTA will make a sudden proclamation, usually in conjunction with a fare increase, thus giving people no time to organize a major protest. This is the same strategy the MTA used with our contract. Oh, the reason why we have to raise fares is because we got to pay our workers. It's all a strategy. It's all to keep the rider at odds with the worker, so we won't be allies with each other. Because the MTA know one thing: if the riders and workers were to become allies, they will be in trouble. So they work around the clock to keep that function going of us versus the public. The MTA will wait for any protest to subside and carry out their objective. This is without a fact. This is a fact. This is a fact. This is what they do. The agency will close a few booths at a time in widely scattered locations throughout the city to impede the formation of any organized protest. Right. So what they'll do, they'll close a few in the Bronx. Then they'll close a few in Brooklyn. Then they'll hit a few in Manhattan. Maybe a few in Queens, just to scatter it away. So if they was to do 20 booth closes in Brooklyn, it would just look like too heavy-handed. If you scatter it out, because we don't really communicate with each other as a union or as a community, as a New York City community. We don't really communicate with each other. So there's no watch force to say that, you know, they closed this booth or they closed that booth. Hey, what the MTA doing? They closed about 30 booths, but it's so scattered you won't really, you know, pay attention to it. It's just like if someone if there was a pile of money on the table and there was a thief around, the thief will probably get away if he take one or $200 bills versus taking $100 bills. It would look strange if you used to take it in one spot, but if you do a little bit at a time, you would get away with it. The agency will redeploy some agents as customer service reps for show, only to dismiss them later. Look what they did. They have station agents making more than conductors now. This is unheard of. Like the station agents who was doing wayfinders, they making more money than conductors now. But what did they do to entice us? They threw an extra dollar out there. The MTA is well aware of the membership that they are playing with. They are well aware of the membership that they are playing with. So they know that, oh, look, we could just throw these minorities $1. They go jump on it. They ain't gonna think about their jobs, because in the long run, that dollar that they throwing at us is shortchanged to the dollars that they go save when they get rid of you through layoffs. That's what they're going to do. Now, we must start holding our union representatives accountable. They are responsible for this. We are responsible for it also by letting them get away with this. Just think about it like this. Most of the union reps, I will say about, and I'm going to go on a whim and say about 98% of the union reps here could retire within 5 years. 98% of your elected union reps can retire within 5 years. I put it to you even more closer. 98% of them could possibly retire before the expiration of this contract. So do you think that they really care about the future of this union? These guys disappear. These guys disappear off of the face of the earth. They don't got none of us. None of them are our real friends. They not our friends. You don't go to they. They don't invite you to their barbecues. They don't invite you to sit at their family table to have dinner. None of them are our friends. In fact, I don't think that they never had real friends throughout their whole lives. Nobody know who these guys are. I'm just playing them. I'm just playing. Some you got some good people in the union, but none of them are our friends. Make no mistake about it. None of them are our friends. If you want to call into the show, the number is 347-48. Oh, I made a mistake. My fault. I made a mistake. I put the wrong number. 347. I typed the wrong number in the beginning of the show. I'm fixing it now for you guys. The number is 347-464-2880. 347-464-2880. If you want to call in, let me know. I'll have you on the show and we could discuss whatever you want to discuss. But the station agents, I need you guys to pay attention. I will give you guys as much support as I can, but I'm not on that side. You guys need to start going to your union meetings. You guys need to start tearing things up, holding your union reps accountable, because they're lying. They don't have no skin in this game. I don't care what they say. They have no skin in this game. They could retire in the next 5 years, and they won't give a damn about what happens to this department or any one of these departments in the next 15 and 20 years. I'm telling you that for a fact. Now, I'm gonna put this on the screen. Will the mask enforcement be used to target minorities? Now, according to this Daily News article from May 2019, it says Black and Latino New Yorkers make up bulk of people busted for subway fare beating, NYPD data shows. Will we be targeted? That's a very valid and legitimate question to ask. Will we be targeted? Because over 90% of fare evasion tickets, 90% of fare evasion tickets go to Black and Latino people in the subway. Now, the reason I bring this up is what ended up happening the other day is during the MTA press conference, Daily News reporter Clayton Goosa asked Pat Foye a question. Let me just get to that, because we're going to discuss this in detail also. Let's get to that video.
Clayton. Yeah, Pat, every time the NYPD comes down and enforces something in the subway, it seems that there is a racial disparity in who gets targeted and who gets ticketed. How have you communicated with them? What are you guys doing to ensure that the NYPD is not repeating the same things that it always does when it enforces things in the subway when it comes
Look,
to
I don't accept the premise of the question, but we've...
90% fare evasion goes tickets for 2018 went to
I don't
people
accept
of
the
color.
premise of the question.
That's
We've
the premise of the
communicated with the
question.
leadership of the NYPD on the MTA on those important, and MTA police on those important issues. Anybody else?
We're gonna play it again, one more
Clayton.
time.
Yeah, Pat, every time the NYPD comes down and enforces something in the subway, it seems that there is a racial disparity in who gets targeted and who gets ticketed. How have you communicated with them? What are you guys doing to ensure that the NYPD is not repeating the same things that it always does when it enforces things in the subway when it comes
Look,
to racial
I don't
disparity?
accept the premise of the question, but we've...
90% fare evasion goes tickets for 2018 went to
I don't
people
accept the
of color.
premise of the question.
That's the
We've
premise of the
communicated with the
question.
leadership of the NYPD on the MTA on those important, and MTA police on those important issues. Anybody else? Clayton.
Yeah, Pat, every time the NYPD comes down and enforces something in the subway.
Get the fuck out of here!
Let's make this clear to MTA chairman Pat White Fragility Foye. We're gonna make this clear. 1 second. Gotta get my thoughts together on this. Give me 1 second. We're gonna make this clear. First of all, Mr. Foye, your answer is unacceptable in 2020. It's unacceptable. Knowing the state that we are in, not only with dealing with this pandemic, but as a society where people of color issues are on the forefront, you choose to say that you don't accept the premise of the question. You should be ashamed of yourself. And Mr. Foye, just in case you are running this company with your eyes closed, and by some of the decisions you made, that won't be far-fetched. You are in charge of a very diverse workforce. There's over 78%, or there's about 78% minorities here in the MTA. There's over 50% of African Americans here in New York City Transit, in the MTA alone. And I get it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? How many times do you actually deal with people of color a day? Most of your staff, and let's make this clear, most of your staff, due to glass ceiling and people of color not being able to obtain the real executive positions of the MTA, you don't see people of color. You probably don't conversate with them. You probably don't even have an extensive conversation with a person of color ever in your life. Probably never. You know, casual conversation, but not nothing to make you understand us. Like I said, your day-to-day work in the MTA, there's no one around you, a person of color that you really deal with. You can't even name 10 people of color that you deal with on a day-to-day basis at the MTA. But I guarantee you, and I'm talking about on an executive level, but I guarantee you that you can name 10 people that look like yourself that you work with. And even when dealing with the union, you're not dealing with people of color. You're dealing with someone who looks like you. Even when it comes to your boss, you're not dealing with people of color. You're dealing with someone who looks just like you. So I understand how fragmented your mind is when it comes to issues that may pertain to Black and Latinos. but it's unacceptable because you are in charge of a very diverse workforce. But what I want to address is Pat, white fragility, Foye, is that the white fragility. And we're going to talk about that because white fragility is very real. I mean, I deal with it myself, trying to talk to certain Caucasians about things and getting a backlash or whatever the case was. But white fragility is a term that Dr. Robin DiAngelo invented to describe how white people react to issues of racism. If you watch the video, I'll play it again. If you watch the video, look at his reaction.
It seems that there is a racial disparity in who gets targeted and who gets ticketed.
Look how
have you communicated with them? What are you guys doing to ensure that
gets
the
flustered or
NYPD
he's
is not
upset about
repeating
the question?
same
Look how
things
he's
that it always
flailing
does when it enforces
his
things in the
hands
subway
like
when it comes to
dismissive.
I
What
don't
the hell
accept the
is
premise of the
this?
question, but we've
90% fair evasion goes tickets for 2018 went.
I don't accept the premise of the question. We've
premise of the
communicated with the
question.
leadership of the NYPD on the MTA on those important, and MTA police on those important issues. Anybody else?
Look how dismissive the MTA chairman is reacting towards a basic question. Basic question. Now, what is white fragility? White fragility refers to feelings of discomfort a white person experiences when they witness discussions around racial inequality and injustice. Like I said, pay attention to Pat Foye's body expressions, how he's moving around and things of that nature regarding that topic. Now, let's make no mistake about it. White fragility differs from both white privilege and white supremacy. White privilege refers to the fact that white people have advantages in society that others do not. White supremacy is the belief that people with white skin are more superior. So they differ from one another. Not saying that if he's suffering from white fragility, because it is something to suffer from. It may be a mental disorder or something. But it's different. You could have white fragility and be a white supremacist and be racist. Make no mistake about it. But how does it differ from racism? Let's talk about that. How does it differ from racism? Look, if you guys want to call in 347-464-2880, I want to hear from you guys. Some people may define racism as the belief that a particular race is superior to another. However, others may refer to this as racial prejudice. I think that's racial prejudice, just my opinion. Now, sociologists define racism as an unequal distribution of privileges between white people and people of color, yes. Racism occurs when white people benefit from an unequal distribution of privileges and people of color experience deprivation. It's plain and simple. None of this stuff is rocket science. Now let's talk about why is it problematic. People experiencing white fragility may not be racist, but their actions, behaviors, and feelings may promote racism. Think about that. Avoiding a topic of race contributes to racism. So let's think about what Pat Foye did. He wanted to ignore the topic, but meanwhile, within his own agency, he had one of his managers, because he is the chairman, Jason Brown, went out there saying racist things for years. Racist comments for years. And nothing happened to him. Not one thing happened to him. You know, he got a slap on his wrist and he gets to keep his position, take a little vacation to another position. It's like timeout. You ever see when people put, hey, go tell a kid to go stand in the corner? That's what they did to Jason Brown. They put him on timeout. Then after you get on timeout, you could come back to doing what you was doing. That's what they did to Jason Brown. Now, since white people rarely experience racism, they often cannot see it, they cannot feel it, and they can't understand it. So sometimes having a conversation with a white person about race, it's like talking to a wall because they not going to be able to relate to what you're saying. And this is Pat Foye's experience. This is his experience. You know, many people of color describe having been prepared to live as a minority in a racist society by their parents. It's true. It's true. Now, due to this absence of understanding and experience, white people lack what Dr. D'Angelo calls racial stamina. However, white people can develop racial stamina by having direct experiences with people of color and engaging in sometimes difficult conversations with them. Pat Foye didn't want to engage in a conversation, and it's not even like a black man asked him the question. It's not like a black reporter asked him the question. He don't even want to engage in it because he feel that it's worthless. He feel that it probably doesn't exist. It doesn't affect him, of course. It don't affect his daughters. That he don't have to deal with it, and he just think that his job is transportation. No, your job is not only transportation. You are responsible for every single thing from the employee side to the passenger side that happens on New York City transit property. The only thing he had to say was, if that's the case, we will monitor it and we will make sure that it doesn't happen. He didn't have to be dismissive or I don't accept the premise of the question. Sir, when you're in a public position like this, it's not about your personal feelings or your personal beliefs. You have to address stuff and think about your entire membership. You have to think about all the employees that you represent. You were speaking from a position of superiority and feeling that you don't have to talk about it because it don't affect you.
Get the fuck out of here!
You, sir, are a disgrace. You put your own personal feelings in front of the majority of your workforce that you represent. You should be embarrassed. And anyone who support him should be embarrassed that they behind this race. Pat Foye is a racist. The MTA could get mad. I don't care what they say. That's my opinion. That's how a racist responds when they're racist. He's no different from Trump. No different. And I keep telling you guys, it's not about political parties, because what these guys would resonate with them first is this. Because you got to admit, when it comes to people like Pat Foye and Trump and Utano, they know who their common enemy is. They know who their common enemy is. And they know how to unite against that common enemy. The problem is that we don't learn how to unite against our common enemies called the oppressors. That's why I told you guys got to read that book. I'll put it back up on the screen before it's over with. But look, white fragility refers to feelings and behaviors that occur when white people face racial stresses. Let me take that off the screen. Give me 1 second. They may deny white superiority, but live a segregated life without any concerns about the absence of people of color. Pat Foye he probably speak to one person of color a day. I promise you that. If that. And that person may be, what's her name? Anita Miller. She's in heck. He may speak to her. He don't speak. Look when he do his press conferences. You ever see any people of color around Pat Foye when he do his press conferences? Why is that? Why is that? Why you don't see people of color around Pat Foye when he do his press conferences? Now, many factors contribute to white fragility, and although it may not be racism, it supports a racist culture. By building racial stamina, however, white people can more openly and critically discuss issues surrounding race. Pat Foye has absolutely no racial stamina. None. None. If you want to call into the show, 347-464-2880. I want to hear from you guys. 347-464-2880. I mean, yo, it was disgusting to see Pat Foye just dismiss. I don't accept the premise of this question. Who, like, it's not about what you accept, sir. It's not about what you accept. You got to think about everyone that you represent because you speak for the members. I mean, or the employees. You speak for the employees. You were just speaking for the racist white people on the job with that. These guys have absolutely no etiquette, none, when it comes to the issues of people of color on the workforce. None. Come on, how Jason Brown said. And Jason Brown is not the only one. Like I told you guys, when I do my my management show, it's gonna blow you guys out the water, man. It's gonna blow you guys out the water. You know, the question, like, it's like someone asked him, the question wasn't even difficult for him to answer. For him to become dismissive, it should show you guys how the MTA, because he is the MTA, he is the second in command behind Cuomo. And trust me, he discussed these things with Cuomo before he, do these press conferences. It shows you the how they think about people of color on this job. I play the video one more time. Hold on, I gotta check to see what you guys on YouTube is doing. Let me see what you guys on YouTube is doing. Let me play the video one more time though.
Yeah, Pat, every time the NYPD comes down and enforces something in the subway, it seems that there is a racial disparity in who gets targeted and who gets ticketed. How have you communicated with them? What are you guys doing to ensure that the NYPD is not repeating the same things that it always does when it enforces things in the subway when it comes to racial disparity?
I don't accept the premise of the question. But
90% fare evasion goes tickets for 2018 went to
I don't accept the premise of the question. We've communicated with the leadership of the NYPD.
I mean, what could we say? Shout out to Pauline P on YouTube. Shout out to Jason Blake. I see you guys on YouTube. Let me see what's going on regular Facebook. Let me see what you guys is talking about there. Shout out to Nicolette. Shout out to my boy Todd Lerner. He said that he believes Foye is worth $12 million. I have to look into that. Gotta see how much his Port Washington home is. Shout out to Nalina. Shout out to my boy Taylor Jones. Mommy Chambers, Calvin. I see you guys. Make sure you guys share out this video. But yo, we must wake up as a people. We must wake up. But while I got you guys' attention a little bit, I need donations. I need you guys to donate to the platform, man. I need you guys to donate. If you got Cash App, the Cash App is Progressive Action 100. I need donations. We got to keep this platform going. We're about to expand it in a second. If you want to donate via PayPal, the PayPal is Progressive Action. Donate. If you're watching via YouTube, you could what they call that? You could super chat. You could super chat some donations in. I would greatly appreciate it. But yo, this is if you want to really donate, we got something called Patreon. Patreon is in the link of the Facebook video. It's in the link of the Facebook video. If you want to donate via Patreon, please donate. That'll be good. Any kind of way you want to donate would be good. We need donations though. But this is crazy. It's embarrassing. Sometimes I'm embarrassed that I work for a company like this. They talk about, oh, Sarah Feinberg, oh, my colleagues are so talented. The MTA is not talented, especially the people that you work around. You can't talk about talent and you hiring all these consultants to do the work. $1 billion worth of consultants, and you talking about talent? Let me hook her up real quick.
Get the fuck out of here!
It's absolutely no talent here in the MTA, especially on that level. Like I said, the things that they are talented in is in the case of Pat Foye, not answering questions about racism that happens on a system that he controls, that he manages ultimately. They are talented in disciplining employees. They are talented in targeting employees. They are talented in wasting money. They are talented in nepotism. They are talented in lying in the media about how they handled this whole pandemic. That's their talents. Like I said earlier, you never seen the TA get a consultant about disciplining employees. Why? Because they got that hands down. They are experts in that. They are experts in that. They are experts in that. Let me see what I missed over here. Karim, I gotta look into that. Because I did, when he first came here, I did pay attention to his Port Authority dealings. I think I need to revisit that. I think I may revisit that because I'm not letting Pat Foye live that down. Shout out to my boy Jason Anthony. What's going on, bro? I'm not going to allow Pat, and we shouldn't allow Pat Foye to live that down. You know, it was racist on what he did. He was speaking from a white man perspective, not understanding the diversity of the workforce that he run as chairman, you know, and very dismissive. It was inconsiderate because it's a concern for mine. It's a concern for me, you know, as far as how the mask enforcement and the targeting of people of color in the system. So once again, I need you guys to donate to the platform. I need you guys to start sharing out these videos. Share them out. Share it if you're watching on Twitter. Retweet it. If you're watching YouTube, take the link, email it to a friend, text message it to a friend. If you're watching on Facebook, share it out on your page. Start a watch party. Put it inside multiple groups that you're in. We must create allies with the public. The MTA spends billions of dollars a year to keep the public and the workers separate. This revolution will not happen if we continue to be separate. The passengers cannot do it without the workers, and the workers cannot do it without the passengers. We must find a way to come together. We must find a way to unite, and we must find a way to beat these people down. Pat Foye, we must destroy their ideology. It's not only bad for people of color, blacks and Latinos. It's bad for the average working class person in New York City. Let's make no mistake about it. Let's make no mistake about it. Thanks for tuning in to the Progressive Action TV show. Catch you guys later. Peace.